Have you struggled with binge eating your whole life despite trying things like therapy and all of the willpower you have? I've got you covered. By the end of this video, you're gonna learn 3 easy tips to overcome binge eating and have the peace you've always wanted with food. I've helped women worldwide to overcome lifelong struggles with binge eating and emotional eating, and instead find the peace and neutrality that they've always wanted with food so they can fully live their lives to the fullest. Recently, one of my clients, Onami, shared, before meeting Giulia, I never thought I'd be able to overcome my struggles with my body and food. Now, I don't engage in self-sabotaging behaviors like emotional eating anymore. I'm the most confident I've ever been, and my days of calorie counting and dieting are finally over. This is the work I've dedicated my life to. If you're really struggling with your relationship to binge and emotional eating, let's not waste another day. You can use the link below to schedule a call directly with me to learn how I can support you into the peace and ease you truly deserve. Now let's get into the video. Here are 3 easy tips to overcome binge and emotional eating for good. And trust me, I struggled with binge and emotional eating since I was 11 years old, and this is exactly what helped me to overcome it and all the clients that I've supported, and it has nothing to do with therapy, nothing to do with willpower. Okay, so first of all, the mistake that you're making is you're thinking that binge eating has to do with willpower, and it absolutely does not. Your subconscious mind doesn't care about willpower because safety is always going to override willpower. So you need to just release this expectation that you have to have all the willpower in the world to overcome this, because that's just more fighting energy that actually feeds binge and emotional eating to begin with. Number 1, if you are dieting, you need to stop dieting because restriction and rules creates the conditions for our body to binge. When our body goes into deprivation, there is a very primal instinct that our body has to save you, and many people who struggle with things like anorexia or different disorders have experienced this in their lives, where the very thing that helped them heal and heal through that disorder was binge eating, because their body was so intelligent and learned, hey, the way that we're eating is very unsafe. We have to overcome this. And so we're going to basically force you to start eating. And that's how binge eating often starts, is through restriction. That's how it happened for me. So if you are dieting and restricting food, please know that you are making it incredibly difficult for yourself to overcome binge eating. And the irony is, when we have peace and freedom with food, we don't have a desire to binge on food because it's just not that interesting. The whole thing that creates this binge eating urge is the fact that that food has a very strong charge. You've told yourself you can't eat this, you can't eat that. So your brain learns that information and it finds it very interesting because it has a strong emotional charge. When food becomes neutral and we have no food rules, nothing about it is very interesting. So you're not going to find yourself sitting there binge eating on pizzas and different foods all day long. So please really think about this. If you are dieting and restricting food, this is a big reason why you can't get out of the binge cycle, because it is part of that binge restrict toxic cycle we get stuck in. And I understand it's very difficult to heal our relationship with food and to overcome diet culture, but that is so crucial for your healing your binge eating. And you absolutely can have the body that you deserve, that you want, and the relationship that you want with food in your body without dieting and without binge eating. That is an absolute truth. Number 2, we've got to work on our beliefs. So our beliefs are the things that we hold at a subconscious level that control our reality, our external world. So consciously, you can tell yourself, yeah, I don't want to binge eat, and tomorrow is going to be the day when I stop. But subconsciously, if you hold a belief that says, I don't believe it's possible for me to overcome binge eating, or I can never have the body that I want without dieting, those deep-seated beliefs are going to rule everything in your conscious mind. So I want you to make a list right now of all the beliefs, the limiting beliefs, I'm being very specific, the limiting beliefs that you have about food, about your weight and body, because all of this is connected. Write down all those limiting beliefs, and I want you to, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate how true those beliefs are. 1 to 10. 10 meaning absolutely true in this moment today, 0, 1 not at all. Okay, spend some time doing this, because that is going to show you those very clear psychological blocks that are keeping you stuck in your relationship with food. Some examples for me, and some examples that I hear that are very clear with clients that have gotten stuck with binge eating, are things like, I can't be happy until I lose weight. I can't be confident until I lose weight. I'm never going to have the body that I want without dieting. It's not possible for me to be free of binge eating. No matter what I do, I can't break free of binge eating. Things like that. So the language is usually, I can't, it's not possible for me. It's possible for others, but not for me. I don't deserve to. I'll never, things like that. That is the prime psychological stuff that is keeping us stuck in this cycle with binge eating, okay? And expand it beyond food. So think about your relationship with your body image, think about your relationship to your weight, because all of those things are correlated. Very, very important. And then once we've identified our limiting beliefs, then we can do the work of using very specific tools to overcome those limiting beliefs and reprogram the mind. Because until we've done that internal work, nothing that we do externally is going to make a difference, because again, everything internally at that subconscious level is what is controlling you. Okay, so we need to clear that so that we can actually move forward. The second piece within all this is to understand our emotions. So the reason why so many of us engage in binge and emotional eating is because we are holding so many repressed emotions and pain. This is very common when we struggle with our relationship to body image and our self-worth, because we have a lot of unworthiness we're holding on to, and that is a very low vibration, painful emotion. And so without properly processing that, those emotions have nowhere to go. They are sitting in your body, creating a lot of uncomfortable feelings. And so our body and our nervous system is very intelligent. It doesn't want you to sit with all of that and have nothing to do with it. It will very intelligently reach outside of yourself, if you don't have the tools within you, to find things to soothe those feelings. So oftentimes, if you were to keep a journal, which is what I highly recommend and what I did, if you track yourself for a week and write down, so let's say you have a binge eating episode and you manage to get your journal out, I want you to write down what was happening before that binge eating episode. What happened earlier in the day? How are you feeling? And for a week, if you're able to track what's actually going on, you're gonna get such a clear picture of what in your life is causing you so much emotional pain that is literally causing your body to use this binge eating, emotional eating, as a safety mechanism, as a tool to help you to feel better. A lot of times we can also remember back to when we were often children, when we develop this habit, and we can really realize, I've had clients who have said, I realized that I developed this binge eating pattern when my parents were going through a divorce, because it was such a hard time for me that I started to rely on eating cookies as a young girl to help myself to feel better and safe. In those moments, we really needed that tool of binge eating, because it did get us out of a very unsafe situation. But the thing is that in today's time, in 2024, whatever year you're watching this, we have much better tools today that make us feel so much more safe. So that's what we want to start understanding, so that we can start replacing the pattern. But really getting an idea of what this repressed emotional pain is that you're carrying is going to be such a key for us to healing, so that we can actually release it and support your body to feel safe internally, instead of sitting with all this heavy turmoil. 3 is probably the most important. It's your nervous system. So when our nervous system is regulated, we do not have patterns such as emotional and binge eating, because the body is regulated and it doesn't feel the need to reach outside of itself for tools to feel safe and strategies to feel safe, such as food. When we have a dysregulated nervous system, which happens for a lot of different reasons, then what happens is we absolutely do engage in patterns of binge, emotional eating, overeating. We struggle with a lot of different behaviors around food. We often struggle with our body image. And not just that, you can obviously see other signs in your body when your nervous system is dysregulated through your sleep, having anxiety, feeling like you have a lot of shame about the way you look. Often people who have dysregulated nervous systems not only struggle with binge and emotional eating, but they've got struggles with dieting and restriction. They also struggle with their weight and have issues losing weight because they've got weight resistance due to insulin resistance and a bunch of different things. So our nervous system is the key thing. It's the golden ticket that controls all the functions in our body, from our sleep, our energy, our hormones, our metabolism, the way we digest food, our gut microbiome, literally everything. And so most people make the mistake of thinking, okay, in order to fix my relationship with binge eating, I'm just gonna go to therapy and talk it out and try to figure out why I started to do this in the first place. And then they do that and they don't feel like they've gotten any progress. I work with people who have 20 plus years of therapy. I myself was one of those people, and therapy is so important and it's very vital for many different things, but talking things out at a conscious level is not gonna actually heal a pattern that has come to be because of a lack of safety in your body and because your nervous system is dysregulated. We have to get the nervous system regulated in order to help your body to feel safe, so that it doesn't feel like it needs to use food to feel safe, because that's an outdated pattern that we know we don't need today. So hopefully that makes sense. So many of you have dysregulated nervous systems because you are stuck in this relationship with food that toggles between dieting and restricting and then binge and emotional eating. Many of you have nervous system dysregulation because you've been through a lot of stress in your life and you have had prolonged stress in your life and nothing has been done to fix that. So that's why we need to actually look at what's going on that is creating this dysregulation in your nervous system and actually fix that and give you the proper tools to start healing your nervous system so that you can come back into a place of harmony. Because not only when your nervous system is regulated will you not engage in binge and emotional eating, but it is also the key to having a peaceful relationship with food, having a peaceful relationship with your body image, and having peace with your entire life. Very important in the quality of life that you want to have. So, to summarize the 3 things that we've talked about focusing on today, which will absolutely support you to heal your relationship with binge and emotional eating. Number 1, you have to stop dieting and restricting food and having a bunch of rules because you're setting yourself up for disaster with that and you will forever be stuck in this loop. Sorry to say, having a peaceful relationship with food is absolutely necessary for creating peace with binge eating. They just go hand in hand. Number 2, we've got to work on our belief system because if we are riddled with limiting beliefs, which frankly, I know most of you are who are watching this video, don't worry, it's okay, it can be fixed, but we have to work on those psychological blocks that are keeping us stuck in our relationship to binge and emotional eating. And once we've done the work of rewiring those limiting beliefs, we start teaching the brain new belief systems around food, and that's what changes our behavior. Very important. Without focusing on the mind, nothing is going to change long term. You're just gonna get stuck in self-sabotaging patterns over and over again. Number 3, we have to work on healing the nervous system because if your nervous system is chronically dysregulated, you're just going to continue to binge eat because your nervous system does not feel safe, and that goes hand in hand. Very key 3 different things. So if you want to see a part 2 on this video, I'd be happy to go into more detail on how we regulate the nervous system and what specific tools we use. Same thing for our belief systems. I would love to support you with that. And if you are currently struggling with binge or emotional eating and you've done extensive therapy, you've used the willpower, you've done it all, and you still feel really stuck and you want to learn exactly how to do these 3 things that I've just told you about that are going to heal your relationship with binge and emotional eating, I will teach you. You can learn more about what it looks like to work with me through a discovery call below. You got this. You can absolutely heal. As I've said, I've helped clients who have struggled with this for 20, 30 plus years. So it's absolutely possible for you. Okay?